Hey everyone, welcome back. So here's what's going down. Games Freight got a patent lawyer in Japan to head over to the Tokyo District Court and dig into the actual case file behind Nintendo's lawsuit against Pocketpair, the creators of Palworld. We wanted to know exactly how Pocketpair is defending itself, and now we've got the inside scoop. In this video, I'm breaking it all down so you can get a clear picture of what's really happening. It turns out Pocketpair isn't just saying, hey, we didn't copy Nintendo. They're going way deeper, challenging the very validity of the patents Nintendo is using to sue them. And here's the kicker. If even one of Pocketpair's arguments holds up in court, it could be game over for Nintendo's case. Right now, both sides have made their stances crystal clear. Nintendo says, we have 3 patents and Palworld infringes all of them. Pocketpair responds, each one of those patents is invalid, and even if they weren't, we're still not infringing on them. The court will now review more written pleadings from both sides before it moves on to the trial phase. Now here's where it gets interesting. Nintendo's patents are based on mechanics from Pokémon, which, let's be real, is a very different kind of game than Palworld. Yes, both games feature fantastical creatures, but Pokémon is a turn-based RPG where players train and battle. Palworld? It's a survival and crafting game. Players gather resources, craft items, and level up through exploration. Now, the genre difference, it's not a legal defense in itself, but it does help explain why some of the game mechanics differ, which might play into the arguments around infringement. So yeah, when Nintendo and the Pokémon Company took Pocketpair to court over Palworld, it wasn't just about cute creatures, it was about these specific patents. In this video, we're breaking down the 3 core patents Nintendo says Palworld violates, and why Pocketpair is arguing those patents should have never been granted in the first place. So now that you've got the big picture, let's get into the details. What exactly are these patents, what do they cover, and how is Pocketpair planning to dismantle Nintendo's case piece by piece? To understand the defense Pocketpair filed in Japanese court on February 21st, we first need to break down 2 key legal concepts, invalidity and non-infringement. When it comes to lawsuits like Nintendo's case against Pocketpair, there are 2 main defenses, and while both matter, invalidity is the real heavy hitter, and here's why. Non-infringement means we didn't copy you. Pocketpair could argue that Palworld doesn't use the same mechanics Nintendo patented. If they win on that, great, Palworld walks free. But here's the catch, the patent itself still survives. So Nintendo could still go after other studios using similar ideas. Invalidity, on the other hand, changes the whole game. It means this patent should never have been granted in the first place. If Pocketpair can show that mechanics like capturing creatures, riding them, or throwing with aim assist already existed in earlier games, like Ark Survival Evolved, Craftopia, or even Final Fantasy XIV, then that patent gets wiped out completely. Once a patent is invalidated, it's gone. Not just for Palworld, but for everyone. Nintendo loses the power to enforce it at all. So instead of just defending themselves, Pocketpair could end up doing the entire industry a favor, pushing back against what some see as a massive overreach by Nintendo. That's why invalidity isn't just a defense, it's a bold, industry-wide counterattack. Now here's something important about how invalidity actually works. Sometimes one piece of prior art is enough if the patent is basically copying something that already existed. Easy win. But more often, the defense is built from a combo. If 2 or more earlier games each had parts of the idea, and someone in the industry could have reasonably combined them, then it's not really an invention. In patent law, that's called being obvious, and if it's obvious, it's not patentable. The combo argument is actually a pretty common and powerful way to kill a patent. Nintendo and the Pokémon Company say Palworld is infringing on specific gameplay mechanics they've patented. But Pocketpair is not just saying, we didn't copy you. They are saying Nintendo didn't invent those mechanics to begin with. Here's where the priority date comes in. The priority date is the official starting line for a patent. If someone else used the same idea before that date, then the patent might not be valid. It's not new anymore. Pocketpair is pointing to earlier games, Ark Survival Evolved, Craftopia, Zelda, Final Fantasy XIV, and saying, look, these mechanics already existed before Nintendo filed. If they can prove that, Nintendo's patents could be thrown out for lack of novelty. But if those other games added the same mechanics after Nintendo's priority date, it's game over for that argument. Those can't be used as prior art. Let's break it down. Say patent 390 has a priority date of December 2021. If Ark Survival Evolved had an aiming and throwing mechanic back in 2015, it qualifies as prior art and could help invalidate that patent. But if Ark only introduced that feature in 2023, like in Ark Ascended, too late, that version can't be used to challenge the patent. The priority date is everything. It decides what earlier work counts and what doesn't. For Pocketpair, knowing exactly when Nintendo filed their patents is crucial because their whole strategy is to prove that Nintendo wasn't first. Now, let's move on to the non-infringement side of Pocketpair's defense. Remember, if a patent is invalid, it doesn't matter whether Palworld infringes it or not. You can't infringe a patent that shouldn't exist in the first place. But if Nintendo's patent does survive the validity challenge, Pocketpair still needs a backup defense. Even if the patent is valid, we didn't copy it. Pocketpair filed these non-infringement arguments on January 31st, 2025, a few weeks before their invalidity claims. It took a while for those court records to surface, but now we finally know what they argued. Here is a key rule in patent law. A patent claim is only infringed if every single part, every claim limitation is met. Miss even one, the whole claim falls apart. Let's go through the 3 patents Nintendo says Palworld infringes and what Pocketpair says in response. Patent 117 focuses on capturing mechanics. It covers how a game tracks your aim, displays a capture success rate, and lets you throw a device to catch the creature. Sounds like Palworld, right? Aim, see your chances, and throw the Pal Sphere. Nintendo says this is a direct lift, but Pocketpair fires back with examples from older games that use similar systems, arguing that this wasn't new and shouldn't have been patentable in the first place. Patent 390 is all about mounting creatures, flying or ground-based, and having the game switch modes automatically when transitioning from air to land. That's a Palworld staple. Ride your flying pal, land, and keep moving. Smooth as butter. Nintendo says that's infringement. Pocketpair says games like Ark, Zelda, and Final Fantasy XIV did this before Pokémon even filed for the patent. Again, if it's not new, it's not protected. Patent 191 focuses on 3D aiming and throwing, specifically tossing an item at a character to interact with it, like capturing or applying effects. Sound familiar? That's core to Palworld. Aim, throw a sphere, catch a creature. Nintendo calls it a copy. Pocketpair points to Ark, Craftopia, Tomb Raider, and even Final Fantasy XIV, all using similar mechanics before Nintendo filed this patent. In short, Pocketpair is attacking from 2 angles. If the patents are invalid, case closed. If they are valid, Pocketpair still argues, we didn't infringe on them anyway. So where does all this leave the case? We've got a legal showdown brewing between one of game's biggest IP holders and an upstart indie studio challenging the status quo. Whether Pocketpair wins or loses, this case could set a major precedent for how far game mechanics can be patented and who gets to own them. So where does the case go from here? Now that both sides have laid out their arguments, invalidity, non-infringement, and everything in between, the court will review additional written pleadings, hold trial proceedings, and eventually issue a decision. There's no official date yet for a final ruling, but in Japanese civil cases like this, it could take months or even longer before we see a verdict. And depending on the outcome, there's a good chance this won't be the end. Either side could appeal, potentially dragging this legal battle into higher courts. This lawsuit isn't just about Palworld versus Pokémon. It's about where we draw the line between inspiration and infringement in game design. If Nintendo's patents hold up, it could reshape how developers think about mechanics like creature capture, riding mounts, or 3D aiming systems. If Pocketpair wins, this might embolden more studios to challenge aggressive IP claims and push back against what many see as overreach. One ruling could end up changing how gameplay innovation is protected or limited for years to come. We'll be keeping a close eye on how this plays out in the courts and what it means for game devs, players, and the future of creativity in gaming. If you want a breakdown of each patent's claim language or updates as the case develops, hit that like, drop a comment, and make sure you're subscribed. It really helps my channel out. If you want to do more to help me keep making helpful videos for you, as well as get exclusive perks for yourself, become a channel member or join my Patreon. That's where the real bosses are. Most of my information is coming from the Games Fray Explain It to Me Like I'm Five series. I'll link it in the description if you'd like to go get more in-depth than I can get in a video. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Until then, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.